These IRS whistleblowers say that Hunter Biden, this is crazy, deducted thousands of dollars paid to no-show employees, including a prostitute. Hunter Biden deducted from his taxes payments to a prostitute, and that Hunter claimed was a, quote, West Coast assistant, which, to be fair, maybe she was a West Coast assistant. She certainly was assisting. He also deducted $10,000 for a golf club member deposit, money that the IRS agents say went to pay for a sex club instead. Hunter Biden deducted prostitutes and sex clubs from his taxes. He also deducted $30,000 for a child's Columbia University tuition. And deducted hotel rooms for one of his drug dealers, hotel rooms for girlfriends, and 2 nights for a hotel room for his own dad, Joe Biden. The IRS team recommended Hunter face felony charges 2014, 2018, 2019, and failure to file or pay 5 of the 6 years. Okay, this is all massive. This is substantial. This is a huge deal, okay? The fix was in for Hunter Biden. Now, why was the fix in? I feel like it's crazy, but I have to explain this. The fix was in because Hunter Biden is Joe Biden's son. And Merrick Garland, who is the Attorney General, has, in concert with Joe Biden, worked to undermine any significant criminal prosecution of Hunter Biden, according to the reports and the allegations under oath made by Gary Shipley and one of his associates. Now, this is important. I believe that there must be an impeachment of Joe Biden and there must be an impeachment of Merrick Garland for their work in obstructing the criminal case against Hunter Biden. Now, Shipley has, in my mind, let me make sure I'm getting his name right, by the way, because Shapley. Gary Shapley. Gary Shapley has this is an IRS agent. Gary Shapley has no incentive to lie. This is important because I haven't heard this discussed very much. If Gary Shipley were lying, first of all, there's corroborating evidence. He would have had to begin to lie back in October of 2022 when he emailed along with incredible details of the corroborating circumstances surrounding everything having to do with this case, okay? But at essence, this is a question of, is Gary Shapley more credible than Merrick Garland and Joe Biden? My answer is yes. Let me explain why. Gary Shapley is an IRS employee. He had absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things to gain by coming public here. Because once he came public, he gave under oath testimony to the House Ways and Means Committee. Why is that significant? Once you give testimony under oath, you are opening yourself up to charges of perjury if it is proven that you are lying. It is almost never the case that someone voluntarily testifies under oath and puts themselves in a position where they could be put in prison for lying, where they get he has sought out this opportunity, right? I can't think of a situation involving Congress. Maybe you guys can. If you can, email me, tag me, send me a DM. I can't think of a situation where an individual like Gary Shapley at the IRS, who does not stand to benefit in any way, has made the decision to come forward and testify under oath, opening himself up to perjury charges, when there is nothing for him to gain by lying, right? Usually liars are going to lie because the lie benefits or protects them in some way. It's a number one rule of lying by and large. It's very rare for someone to lie and not benefit from the lie in some way, either protecting themselves, either adding assets, right? If you think about what would motivate someone to lie, what's the motivation for Gary Shapley to lie here, this IRS agent? What's the motive for the whistleblower who also confirmed Gary Shapley's reports to lie as well? What is that motivation? I can't think of one. You could say, well, he's such a political actor that what? He decided to make up something that is indisputably true about Hunter Biden and argue that they wanted more severe charges to be brought against Hunter Biden than were ultimately brought. We know that's true. The only thing you could argue that he is lying about is what David Weiss said in this October of 2022 meeting, when David Weiss said that he wanted a special counsel, that his goal to bring charges in California and D.C. had been rejected, that he wasn't allowed to bring charges in Delaware. If all of that is true, or it is true that David Weiss said those things, why would Gary Shapley make it up? There would need to be a motivation here. And the motivation would need to be so significant that Gary Shapley, who was a federal employee, would be willing to lie and potentially go to prison over his lie. And he would be so committed to that lie that he would have another witness supporting him, and that he would make the decision to testify under oath. It doesn't add up, okay? The idea that Gary Shapley would be lying doesn't add up. What about Merrick Garland, the Attorney General of the United States? What incentive does he have to lie? All of them? Because if Merrick Garland was actually protecting Hunter Biden, as it seems quite clear that he was, Merrick Garland already has testified under oath that he wasn't doing that. And so Merrick Garland would be in danger of federal perjury charges and being impeached, removed from office, and potentially prosecuted as a felon. I don't know about you, but I can see why Merrick Garland might claim that he wasn't giving preferential treatment to Hunter Biden. And I also can certainly see why Joe Biden would lie about this. When Joe Biden said he never had any discussion or interaction effectively, any involvement at all with his son's business in any way, well, this is directly refuted by the WhatsApp message that was sent by Hunter Biden, which no one is claiming is actually fake. And I want to read that WhatsApp message to you because I think this is really important. Here's what Hunter Biden said in a WhatsApp message on July 30th, 2017, a date that we know he was at Joe Biden's home because there are photos on the laptop, which is 100% real, and which we all know was 100% real, that confirm that Hunter Biden was there. Here's what Hunter Biden texted. I am sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled. Tell the director that I would like to resolve this now before it gets out of hand, and now means tonight. And Z, if I get a call or text from anyone involved in this other than you, Zong, or the chairman, these are high-ranking Chinese Communist Party officials, said WhatsApp message from Hunter Biden, I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. I am sitting here waiting for the call with my father. Hunter Biden, the smoking gun text message evidence that Joe Biden was involved in extorting foreign national governments for the benefit of the Biden crime family. Okay? Smoking gun evidence between the cover-up of the Hunter Biden investigation, Joe Biden caught flagrantly by the words of his own son involved in illegal foreign business relationships, right, with America's chief adversary, China. This is clear and concrete evidence that Joe Biden and Merrick Garland need to be impeached. Now, it's important to understand why the impeachment matters. There are CBS, NBC, ABC, CNN, Washington Post, New York Times, MSNBC, clear left-wing propaganda outlets that will not cover all of the data and all of the evidence that I have just laid out for you, okay? They won't cover it. In fact, we'll clip this discussion. We will share it on Twitter. Everybody can watch it. You should share it with your friends and family who otherwise are unaware of all of this going on. Here's why this is important and why impeachment must happen. First of all, you'll recall that the first impeachment Donald Trump faced was over a phone call that he made with Zelensky in Ukraine directly relating to this criminal behavior by Hunter Biden. I want you to understand what Democrats did. They impeached Donald Trump for asking Ukraine to look into the illegal activities of Hunter Biden. They impeached Donald Trump, Democrats did, tried to remove him from office for accurately questioning the president of Ukraine, Zelensky, at the time before the invasion, all of this, about the payments that Hunter Biden and the Biden crime family were receiving from shady Ukrainian-based entities, Burisma among them. Think about that for a minute. Not only was Trump's phone call fine and perfectly within the law, it actually was asking for help to shine light on the criminal behavior of Hunter and Joe Biden, which is ostensibly what the media is supposed to care about. Okay? The reason why impeachment must occur is because it will force many of those entities, CBS, NBC, ABC, the New York Times, the Washington Post, MSNBC, CNN, and all of their audience, the tens of millions of people every day that consume their content, that have no idea about all of the evidence and all of the facts that I have just laid out for you. At a minimum, the impeachment of Merrick Garland and Joe Biden will require the coverage of many of these factual details that otherwise the propaganda left-wing media in this country will not discuss and will not share with their audience. And by the way, this is important, okay? Because I understand lots of people are super busy. I've got young kids. If I didn't have this job, it would be hard for me to follow all of the nuances of the Biden crime family. That's particularly the case when these media outlets refuse to cover it. If Donald Trump Jr. and Donald Trump had been involved in behavior like this, it would be on the front page of every one of those newspapers. It would be the lead story for months. There must be impeachment because we have to have prime time hearings, because the precedent that has been set by all of those media outlets is they will cover those prime time hearings, and we must have the Biden crime family and their protector, Merrick Garland, held accountable for what they are doing, because it directly relates to the criminal prosecution of Donald Trump by a politicized Department of Justice run by Joe Biden and Merrick Garland. Okay? This is not complicated. It's also worth mentioning that after that text message, I should have mentioned this back then, within a few days of that text message, the Biden crime family received payment of over $5 million from this Chinese entity. So the threats worked, and the Biden crime family is so filled with hubris that Hunter Biden took a trip to Camp David with his father this weekend, and he showed up for the state dinner with India right after pleading guilty or agreeing to plead guilty to these charges. It's unbelievable. Okay, so that is the rough background, and I'm going to keep hammering it because I think it's so important. All these details, we're going to talk about it. It's going to be the lead on Clay and Buck in 40 minutes, but we'll clip this and make sure that we share it so everyone out there can see it. Here's one other bit of news, a bit of opinion. The judge that is scheduled to hear the Hunter Biden plea agreement, he should reject it. Let me repeat that. The judge that is scheduled to sit and accept the Hunter Biden plea agreement should reject it because there is clear evidence that an obstruction of justice in this investigation took place. As a result, any plea agreement should be null and void. It should be tossed aside. There should be a brand new independent counsel appointed in this case that is given full and complete authority to investigate every bit of the details surrounding Hunter Biden and bring charges as he sees fit. Merrick Garland should recuse himself from any involvement whatsoever in the Hunter Biden case, during which time an impeachment of Merrick Garland should occur. Now, it's also worth noting, Democrats are not going to remove Joe Biden or Merrick Garland from office. They'll refuse to do it in the Senate. But having control of the House, every Republican should line up in concert and demand that the impeachment of Joe Biden and Merrick Garland and a further investigation, including primetime hearings, should all occur. At a minimum, every single witness under oath should be brought forward, from David Weiss to every U.S. attorney involved in these cases, Merrick Garland, frankly, in my opinion, Joe Biden himself. All of them should be put under oath and questioned about their behavior in this particular case. All right, that is my analysis of the Hunter Biden case as it currently stands. We will continue to break this down. This is a big story, and it's not going away. And I think ultimately, and I'll discuss this, I think it's going to prevent Joe Biden from being the nominee in 2024